All right, so good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our MBA program's virtual information session. This session is presented by the Graduate Business Programs Office at California State University at Long Beach. And we'll be talking about our 4 different MBA programs. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over and introduce Dr. Rod Smith, our Graduate Business Programs Director.
Good evening. Nice to see you all here. Just to clarify, the evening MBA and the online MBA applications are open now until the 1st of November for spring admit. But all 4 programs are open now until the 1st of June for fall 2025 admit. So I will talk a little bit about that and try to make it clear as I go through. Okay, so you wouldn't be here if you didn't understand the value of an MBA, the value of continuous learning, and the importance that that could be to your career. But I'll give you some examples that maybe things that you haven't seen. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about the College of Business at Cal State Long Beach. Then we're going to get into some specifics of each MBA program. And then Lindsay is going to jump back in and describe the application process. And at the end, we'll answer any of your questions. As long as you have questions, we're here. So let's get started. Okay, value of an MBA. Slowly. There it is. I knew it was going to go all at once. I like this chart. It was prepared by the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, and it shows median wealth by educational attainment. So they've measured it from 1989 to 2022. And notice that that green line, that individuals with postgraduate education are on average much wealthier than people with bachelor's degrees, high school education, etc. So in this case, graduate education is mixed. So we could have doctors, lawyers, a variety of things, but it gives you an idea of the value of a postgraduate education, whether or not it's in business. Okay, this one is from, where did I get this? It's from the Georgetown Center for Education and the Workforce. And this was out of a report that they prepared a couple of years ago, but it's still valid in that currently you can see that about 22% of the jobs are held by people with high school diplomas, 10% held by people with less than high school diplomas. But on the top end, 14% are held by people with graduate degrees and 22% by people with bachelor's degrees. So notice that they're predicting by 2031 that the jobs for high school graduates is going to go up. I mean, going to stay the same. The individuals' bachelor's degrees are going to increase, but also the people with graduate degrees. So in other words, a bachelor's degree or a graduate degree is becoming required to compete in the 21st century workforce. And graduate degrees are getting a larger proportion of the pie. Okay, so let's move and talk a little bit about the College of Business. We are ranked in all of the major ranking educations. U.S. News and World Report gave us a #1 for social mobility. Forbes ranked us at number 37 for best value colleges. And money.com, used to be Money Magazine, gave us a best college, 4.5 out of 5 stars. And that was 2023. I think they did it again in 2024. Yep. CEO Magazine said that we were a tier 1 global MBA program. The important symbol here is over on the lower left. AACSB stands for the Association for the Advancement of Collegiate Schools of Business. And that program is the premier accrediting agency for business schools. Out of about 16,000 business schools in the world, only about 700 are accredited. And there's a very rigorous process that they go through. They look at our programs very closely. They evaluate whether or not we are assuring learning, whether or not we're achieving our learning goals, and whether or not our programs are taught by qualified instructors. So they look at a lot of things. We just passed our AACSB accreditation earlier this year, and now we get a 6-year bubble and we'll be up for accreditation again in 2030. Wherever you decide to go to school, look for an AACSB accredited school. We have developed lots of resources for our students. One of the main resources is our Graduate Business Career Services. We have 3 professionals in the University Career Services Center that are dedicated to the College of Business and to graduate students. So they assist with resume writing, mock interviews, internship programs. They have a resume book that they send out regularly to employers. So if you're looking to get your name in front of new employers, they can be a tremendous service. But they can also help you tune up your LinkedIn profile and help prepare you for advancing at your current place of business. So they serve multiple purposes, and their only job is to support our students. They also help run a graduate mentor program. It's coming up in the spring, where they connect graduate students that are interested in working with a mentor with alumni, successful alumni. And you get to meet, as a student, you get to meet with them as often as you want, to talk about careers, talk about life in general. It's been a very popular program, and we always encourage our students to take advantage of it. We also have a student organization, our Graduate Business Student Ambassadors, and we have a MBA advisory board and an extensive alumni network. So there's lots of people that you can talk to about College of Business and the MBA programs. Okay, so I mentioned we have 4 programs. It's kind of 4.5. We have a daytime MBA. This program is administered through our College of Professional and Continuing Education, and I'll talk about what that means in just a minute. It is not open for spring admission, but the applications are open for fall 2025 right now. The evening MBA is run as a stateside program, so it's run in the same way our undergraduate programs are run. So it has a different fee structure. Sometimes that's advantageous. Sometimes the daytime MBA program can be advantageous. All of our MBA programs have generally the same curriculum, although some programs have particular themes that they emphasize. The evening MBA has a joint program with the Masters in Fine Arts. So they have people that are working toward their masters in theater management. They take the first 36 units with us, Lindsay, and then they take 50 some more with the Masters in Fine Arts program. So they end up going to school for 90 units. So they are fully committed. Our newest program is the online MBA program. Its fee structure is very much like the evening MBA. So it is a stateside program run just like our undergraduates in terms of fees and tuition. And then our Saturday MBA. This is a hybrid program where students come in and they spend all day one Saturday, and then the next Saturday they work online on their own. So every other week they spend their Saturday at the school. So daytime MBA. This is our only program where you go to school during the day. It is a full-time daytime cohort model program. In other words, you come in with a group of students and you stay with those students through every class for the duration of the program. It can be completed in 21 months. You go to school you start in the fall, you go in spring, summer, fall. You actually have a class in the winter session, which is just January, and then you finish up in spring. The emphasis for this program is entrepreneurship and innovation, and students work with the Apostle Incubator at the university to help develop new business ideas. So they're given support to create a business idea and actually develop that. And then they get to compete in the Sunstone Innovation Challenge with the opportunity to win some money as seed money to go out and start their program. As I mentioned, this is run through our College of Professional and Continuing Education. So it is a concierge program. You pay one amount per credit unit. So it's a flat rate. That includes everything. You get parking, you get books, you get meals when we keep you all day at school, and you get an international trip, and that's held during the winter session in the second year. And this year, they're going to Dublin the third week of January. So they're looking very much forward to that. A typical MBA applicant, the focus of this program is on students coming right out of an undergraduate program. So they typically have less than 3 years work experience. They are generally smart, 3.28 average GPA, 25 years of age, goes with less than 3 years work experience. They are getting close to 50-50, men and women, and there's a substantial portion of international students. One reason that it's attractive for international students is that non-California residents pay an additional fee if you go through a stateside program, just like you'd pay an additional fee for an undergraduate program. And it ends up being less expensive to take the daytime program because there is no out of California fees. So international students pay the same fees as domestic students. Sample schedule. In our numbering system, the 500 level courses are introductory business courses. It's designed so you don't have to have a business background. You can come in with, let's say, economics or communications or engineering. And then during the first year, you would take accounting 500. So that's financial accounting. You'd learn the basics of accounting, you'd learn the basics of marketing, you'd get human resource management and some IS 601 as our statistics class. And in the second year, Finance 501 again would be an introduction to finance topics. So we try to get most of the 500 courses out of the way, and then we build on those throughout the rest of the program. If you look on the right side, you see in the winter, the GBA 690, that's our short-term study abroad. Again, it is a full course, but you spend 1 week of that course studying, visiting businesses, and getting acculturated to a foreign country, usually a European country like Ireland. And then we finish up with the capstone course. All of our MBA programs finish with a GBA 699 course. It's a capstone course. And in those courses, you have to do a project and you have to get at least a B to graduate from your program. It's consistent across all programs. Cost estimate, well, as I mentioned, it is a concierge program, flat rate. You pay $950 per unit, and you get everything included. So the total for the full program, assuming that you don't have a business background, if you have a business background, there is an opportunity to waive some of the 500 level courses, and then this overall total would come down. So the evening MBA, as I mentioned, this was a stateside program. This is our most flexible program in that you get to pick the number of classes you take per semester. So you can take 1 class or you can take 4 classes. Classes are held Monday through Thursday evenings. So it's designed for working professionals. Smaller class sizes, we typically shoot for 20 to 25 in the class sizes. There is a variety of electives in this program. So this is our only program that gives you those choices. Summer enrollment is also optional. But since it is self-paced, it's not a cohort program. You're going to meet different people probably every class. And if you decide to take 1 or 2 classes per semester, you're going to be with us for a long time, but some people really enjoy that. So they don't have the time in their life to commit to a full-time program, but they do enjoy learning 1 or 2 new things per semester. Okay, and the evening MBA program, average work experience is about 6 years. So our students are about 28 years of age. Obviously, that could be a wide range. Smart students, average GPA 3.16 currently, about 40% women. This program is typically face-to-face. There are some classes that are hybrid. There is an occasional online class, but the program is designed to be in-person instruction. So there are a lot of people that enjoy that. Other people enjoy the benefits and the flexibility of online instruction. So we try to give you 2 choices, at least 2 choices. This is 20% international students. International students have to take a full-time program, so it's less flexible for them. They need to take at least 3 classes a semester. Okay, so if you get through this program quickly, it costs less. Every semester you attend costs a little bit more, but overall, the tuition and fees for the evening MBA program are determined by the state of California, the Cal State system, and they end up being in the $30,000 to $35,000 range. If you're an international or out-of-state student, that bumps up to about $50,000 to $55,000. So you can see some advantage for the daytime MBA for our international students. Okay, our joint degree program, College of the Arts. Okay. This is completed in 3 very demanding years. It's a 90-unit program. They complete 36 units with us, and then they complete the rest in the MFA program. Their MFA courses, of course, are during the day, and then they take our MBA courses at night. Summer enrollment is optional, and they have a lot of opportunity to get practical experience because they work with the California Repertory Theater, and they help manage, market, and develop those performances for the current year and future years. We have just a few students in this program, but they are very good students typically. Online MBA, our newest program. It's been around since 2019. We give you 2 options. You can go full-time or part-time. Classes are in the evening, so it's designed for working professionals. It is a cohort-based model. So you come in, you're assigned to a cohort, and you stay with them throughout the program. When we started the program, we decided that full-time meant 4 courses per semester. And we believe, based on some research, that it was easier for our students to focus on 2 classes at a time. So we run this in each semester consists of 2 8-week sessions. You'd get 2 classes in the first 8-week sessions. You'd finish those, and then you get 2 more classes in the second 8-week sessions, and you'd finish those to make up the semester if you're a full-time student. If you're a part-time, you would take 1 class in each 8-week session. This program does involve summer enrollment. So if you're full-time, you would take a couple of summer courses. This allows you to finish in under 2 years. If you were not a business major, if you're a business major, there's an opportunity to waive classes, and that gives you a little bit of a heads up in terms of finishing earlier. Okay, very similar to the evening MBA, 7 years work experience, 29 years of age, 3.17 average GPA, a little bit higher percentage of women, but not so much to make a big difference. Curriculum, other than a few electives in the evening MBA, is very similar. You're just doing it online. Sample schedule, if you were a full-time, remember I said the 500 level courses. In the online MBA, you get those out of the way right up front. So your first semester, you'd take 2 of the 500 level courses, 4 of the 500 level courses, 2 in the first session and 2 in the second session. And then you'd go on to the 600 level courses that would build on these. Couple of courses in the summer, and then you start getting into some more advanced work by fall, and you'd finish up in spring. And again, we have GBA 699, the capstone course, where you would work with a group to do a project. We try very hard to get real world projects. We have clients coming in from the community with business problems wherever we can. Part-time, everything slows down. So instead of 4 courses per semester, you take 2. Obviously, this pushes the time out, so it takes 3.5 years instead of under 2. But the sequence of courses is identical. Some people like this. It's an easier pace. I will tell you right up front that if you're a full-time online MBA student, you're fully committed. You have to be aware of there's lots of demands on your time, and there are some things in your life that are going to have to be set aside for you to be successful. And so all of the online MBA courses are identical to the evening MBA courses. They just happen much quicker. They happen in 8 weeks rather than 16. Similar costs. It is a stateside program. Tuition depends on whether you're part-time or full-time. It's in the 30 to 35,000 range. And again, out-of-state students would pay the out-of-state fees, and it would run it up to 50 to 55,000. And so the difference between the online and the evening are really two differences. The online is a cohort-based program, where the evening is a select your own course, select your own pace program. Okay, but the content of both programs is very similar. It's just different mode of delivery. Saturday MBA, our last one. Again, run through our college of professional and continuing education. It is a cohort model. They complete it in 2 years. The themes for this program are disruptive technology. How is technology changing the way we do business? So you get to learn some data analytics. You get to talk about the impact of technology on various industries, various individual businesses. And at the same time, you get to apply environmental, social, and governance practices to business management. So it emphasizes sustainability. This is also a flat rate program. It is $1,000 per unit. It is aimed at individuals that are a little higher up in their organizations, so they typically have more than 8 years work experience, 32 years average age, 3.25 average GPA, so again, good students. And recently, we've had a little higher percentage of women in this program. They seem to like giving up their Saturdays. Maybe the men are watching football or something like that, like I would be, but now the women are willing to come on Saturday and then willing to do the online work for the every other Saturday hybrid nature of the program. And the advantage of this program is that we have small classes. Typical class size is 15 students. Okay. Again, we try to get the 500 level courses out of the way. The GBA 599 is an introduction to disruptive technology. So you start talking about that from the beginning of the program. The GBA 600 and 601 courses on the fall 25, spring 26 blocks. Those are specifically sustainability in the business organization. So you get to discuss how companies are meeting the challenge of being green and being socially responsible in the 21st century in order to compete. 690 is their international trip. This program went to Munich last year, and they're going to Copenhagen this year. So the 690 and 699 courses usually happen in the last summer. So they start in the fall and they finish in the summer session. So the program takes just under 2 years. Which I just said. Again, concierge program, you get textbooks, parking. We bring in breakfast. We give you meal passes for lunch when you're here on Saturdays. And the tuition includes that short-term study abroad. So it includes the time in Munich. The students just have to figure out how to get there. So they pay for their travel. And usually the students do not mind that because they build in some vacation with it. Okay, but once you're in country, everything is paid for. So the meals, the hotel, etc., the transportation, the visits are all arranged. So that is part of your program. So if you want to choose the best program for you, think about how flexible you need to be. Would you like a cohort program? Would you like to stay with the same group throughout your program? Okay, so we have a little chart that compares these. So I've got the daytime MBA and the Saturday MBA on the outside here. Again, those are run by the College of Professional and Continuing Education, and they have flat rate tuition, so they're concierge programs. The evening MBA and the online MBA, the two programs that are available for spring admittance, are stateside programs. We have those links. You can actually click through there and go to the university website that says, here's the tuition and fees for all of our programs. So you can figure it out down to the penny. But it's basically between 30 to 35,000 for California residents in those programs. The international trips are included in the daytime and Saturday MBA program, included in that concierge tuition. We do offer an optional international trip for our evening and online MBA students. So that would be an elective. And this year, we've been working on that, and the students in that class are going to go to Madrid. So they're going to meet as a class in the spring, and then they're going to go to Madrid, Spain, believe the first week in June following the spring semester. The evening and online MBA programs are general management MBAs. As I said, the daytime MBA focuses on innovation and entrepreneurship, and Saturday focuses on disruptive technology and sustainability. Although we're developing some expertise in disruptive technology that we're trying to add to the other programs, I think that's a critical topic for people in business today. And you're probably tired of listening to me talk, so now you get to listen to Lindsay.
Thanks so much, Dr. Smith. All right, we're going to chat about the application process. So hopefully after listening to Dr. Smith, you have a little bit more of a better idea about which program might be the best fit for you and your schedule. So now we'll talk about eligibility requirements. A candidate is eligible to apply to any of our 4 graduate business master's programs if they have a bachelor's degree from a regionally accredited university or in the process of earning one. For their undergraduate GPA, they need to have a 2.50. This is a CSU or California State University-wide mandate, and so this is applicable to all 23 Cal State sister schools. Within the College of Business, because our programs are a little bit more competitive, they have a 2.75 GPA. And then we always have to caveat this, that meeting these minimum eligibility requirements does not automatically guarantee a candidate admission. There are supplemental application materials that need to be submitted as well. For any of our candidates who may be studying on a visa or have earned their degree from an international institution, they may need to submit the English language requirement and demonstrate that they have met that. We've included a couple of different exams and the test scores needed in order to pass that here, but there's a list of several different test options and scores that the Center for International Education accepts. All right, so in order to apply, a candidate will create their profile through Cal State Apply. This is a completely online application portal. There are 4 different quadrants to complete, and we'll go into a little bit more detail on each of them. However, we also have a PDF application guide that candidates can download and follow side by side while they're working on the application. The Cal State Apply application does have a fee associated with it. It's a $70 application fee. And at the graduate level, there are no application fee waivers like there are for undergraduate level students. As Dr. Smith mentioned, we do have 2 programs of our 4 MBA programs that offer a spring admission cycle. So right now we are actively in the spring 2025 application cycle for the evening MBA program and the online MBA program. The deadline is coming up on November 1st for domestic applicants. If you're interested in any of our 4 programs, all 4 of our programs offer a fall application cycle, and the fall 2025 application cycle is open now. The deadline will be March 15th for our international applicants and June 1st for our domestic applicants. Once a candidate has completed their Cal State Apply application, they will then submit their transcripts and test scores. The Cal State Apply application has 4 different application requirements. There's the resume, video statement of purpose, short answer essay, and 2 letters of recommendation. Once you're on Cal State Apply, you'll indicate the term of admission that you're interested in, as well as the level. Our master's programs are considered graduate level programs. Once you've indicated your program of interest, you'll then see what's referred to as the application dashboard or the Cal State Apply dashboard. And here is where you will track your progress as you're going through the application. As you complete each of the 4 quadrants, the section will turn completely green and it'll indicate that you've completed all of the sections. For quadrant 1, this is all of your personal contact details and information. This is where you'll enter your name, the email address that you'll receive your admissions notification to. And they're also going to ask you questions about your citizenship and residency so that they can determine if you have if you're an international applicant and will need support with a visa, or if you're out of state. Quadrant 2 is your academic history. And so this is where you will input the college that you are currently attending or have previously attended. For GPA entry, please do note that you do not have to input this, and it will be confirmed by the Office of Admissions after you submit your official transcript. If you want to input something and you're not sure if it's accurate, that's really okay. They will be confirming it with your official transcript. And then if you do need to submit standardized test scores, perhaps to indicate that you have met the English language demonstration as an international student, you may do so in this section. But otherwise, we do not require the GMAT or the GRE. We are also not test optional, so you do not have to take it or submit the test scores at all because they will not be reviewed. Quadrant 3 is supporting information, and there's actually only 1 tab to complete here. We kindly ask that candidates indicate that they are not adding any experiences because we are going to ask that they upload their resume in quadrant 4. Quadrant 4 is where the bulk of the components are going to be uploaded. There's 4 different tabs once a candidate gets to quadrant 4. There's the Home tab, which includes some information and website links to our program. There's the Questions tab, the Documents tab, and then the Recommendations tab. So we'll go into a little bit more detail about each of these tabs. Under the Questions tab, this is where candidates will include their video statement of purpose link. We do not have an interview as part of the process, and so we see the video statement as a way to have that informal interview. The video statement asks that you respond to these 4 prompts. You'll briefly introduce yourself and explain your educational and/or employment background. You'll share what your career goals are over the next 3 to 5 years. You'll then share what your long-term dream job is. And then finally, share what you are doing to prepare yourself for graduate school. In total, the video should be 3 to 5 minutes. We recommend spending approximately 1 minute per each prompt. That'll help get you to the 3 to 5 minute requirement. And then candidates can utilize any video platform that they desire. YouTube tends to be the most popular and easily accessible one. All that is required is that the video is publicly accessible without anyone on the admissions committee having to log in, enter a passcode, or create an account. Right. Within quadrant 4, the documents tab, this is where candidates will upload their resume and their short answer essay. We truly do mean short. So for the essay, it is a 1-page maximum, 12-point font, double spaced with 1-inch margins. And for the prompt, applicants will be writing about a time that they experienced a challenge or obstacle and how they overcame it. And what would they do differently if they could experience that challenge or obstacle over again? So once you've written that, you will upload it into the Documents tab in quadrant 4. The last tab in quadrant 4 is the Recommendations tab. The candidate will enter the names and email addresses of 2 individuals they would like to write their letters of recommendation. As soon as that information is entered, those contacts for the recommendations will immediately receive an automated email from Cal State Apply with the information and the link for how they access the application recommendation portal. We encourage you to provide them this information so that they write you a really great letter of recommendation. The letter of recommendation should include a summary of their history with you. You can ask your employers, supervisors, managers, directors. If you're currently enrolled or recently were, it's great to get a letter of recommendation from a faculty member or an instructor. The letter of recommendation should include some statements about the characteristics that they believe will help you succeed in graduate school. And then some descriptions of the contributions you have brought to either the organization or the classroom. And then finally, a strong closing statement endorsing your candidacy for the program admission. For transcripts, the Office of Admissions kindly asks that you do not send any transcripts until after you have submitted and paid for your Cal State Apply application. This is so that an account has essentially been created with you at the university, and then you can submit the transcripts to accompany that account. Most institutions seem to have electronic submission at this stage. So if your current or former institution can send transcripts electronically, you can go ahead and order them and enter in this email address listed here, es-idptrans@csulb.edu. Alternatively, you can have your current or former institution mail a physical official copy, or you can bring it in person to the Office of Enrollment Services and Admission. If you are currently attending or have ever attended Cal State Long Beach in the past, you do not need to request or order a Cal State Long Beach transcript to be sent to Cal State Long Beach. The university has all of your Cal State Long Beach records already. For candidates who have transcripts from international institutions, the official transcript will only be required after admission, and they encourage you to upload copies of your unofficial transcripts into Cal State Apply. This is an optional portal within the Documents tab in quadrant 4 of Cal State Apply. For any additional information or questions, we've included the Center for International Admissions and the Center for International Education on this site. To help folks complete their application, especially if they are applying for the spring 2025 application cycle with a deadline of November 1st, we encourage folks to attend one of our application support drop-in sessions. This is scheduled for the next 2 Wednesdays, October 23rd and October 30th from 5:30 to 6:30. This is a session that is held virtually via Zoom, and it's essentially like drop-in popcorn sessions. So you can just come in, get your question answered quickly, and then pop out. But we host these sessions to help candidates make sure and feel comfortable and confident that they've submitted their application accurately. We are also very excited to invite you to our virtual cafe event. We are hosting this on Wednesday, October 23rd at 5 o'clock, so right before the application support drop-in session. This session is specific to our evening MBA program and our online MBA program. So if you're interested in either of those programs and are considering applying for the spring 2025 admission cycle, but you're not sure which program would be the best one for you, we encourage you to attend this virtual cafe event. You can talk to current students and ask them questions about their experiences in the program so far, and they are very glad to talk to you and answer questions honestly. There won't be any faculty or instructors or program directors at that session, so you can, not worry about having a casual or informal conversation with them, and they'll answer very honestly. This concludes our session. We are going to go ahead and stop the recording now and open it up for questions and answers. Just a friendly reminder that everyone will receive the recording link for this presentation so you can watch or listen to it again. You will also receive a PDF of this application.